Hey everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Pierce Jakeway. I'm a lieutenant with South Metro Fire Station 44 A Shift. I'm also the South Metro ARFF team coordinator, and this is a Fleet Friday on our new Red 2. Okay, so we've gotten a lot of questions on social media about the color and why they're green, and then also what we're doing with the renumbering of apparatus. So the biggest objective with these vehicles and these trucks is to put out fire in a plane crash situation or contain a fuel spill that may be on fire. So fire's red, so that's why they're called reds, and that's why we're keeping them as red 1 and 2. The new ones are red 1 and 2, and then we have the old red 2 is now red 3. That'll be stationed at 35s. And then we have red 4, which used to be red 3 that was at 44s. That's going to become a ready reserve for our fleet, and then a training vehicle that we can use at our training facility that we have here on the airport. Another reason that they're green is these trucks won't be replaced for another 20 years. So who knows what the future holds here at Centennial Airport, but we just wanted to be ready in case there was a change 20 years from now that would require us to be this color. FAA recommends the color of the green. It's not a hard, fast rule that we have to follow, but we just wanted to make sure that if there was a change in the future, we were ready for that. The apparatus were purchased in a partnership, so 50% was paid by South Metro and 50% was paid by Centennial Airport, or the Arapahoe County Airport Authority. And they both came in right at about $1 million a piece. So come on, let's take a look at what's inside the compartments. Inside the cab that we'll get to in just a few minutes, we have a riding position for 4 people, and it's laid out a little bit different than what our old red 3 was or current red 4. But we'll show you that in here in a minute. This first compartment has our firefighters' gear in it. It's a great place to stow their stuff, and then underneath we have a hydrant bag just with a small assortment of tools for us to be able to either connect to a tender or to a hydrant. We have several hydrants out here on the airfield that we can use, or if we're off the airport, we can tie into some type of a water supply. So as you'll find on these trucks, there's not a whole lot of room for us to work compartment space, and we couldn't customize it a whole lot like we do our aerials or our engines. So it's very straightforward. On the red 1 and 2, you'll notice we've got 2 pre-connects now. These are 150-foot pre-connects that can either be pulled from both sides or either side. These are pulling from the left side right now, but the yellow line or our front line is 150 feet, and it's got a pre-connected piercing nozzle already set on it. And the red line is 150 feet just with adjustable rate or adjustable gallonage nozzle that we have on there. Up here we just have a 6-foot pike pole, and then we have a New York hook set up in here. The nice thing about the pre-connects is that once you pull the line all the way out and you've activated your water here, this will automatically pull and open a valve that we have up in here, so there's really no controlling from the cab. Once you flip this on and go and pull it all the way out, you automatically get water. So really nice addition. SCBA bottles, just spare SCBA bottles here. This is a slide out bracket that goes with a step that we have here that allows somebody that may have a challenge getting into this compartment. They can use that step and get into this compartment here. Just a discharge there, and then we've got a blowdown for our Purple K. This is a 100-foot booster line that allows us to have all 3 agents, so we can have water, foam, and Purple K. Through this, our pre-connects are just water and foam only. So the booster, we can deploy the 100-foot as it sits from this position, or it's got 2 other positions that we can get it. We have a 45-degree position We got a 90, so we can go straight off if need be. And then we just got our dual agent or our trip. We can use water foam and Purple K out of that selection there. In the back, we just have a spare nozzle that we can spin off our piercing nozzle and put the fog nozzle on. Just an axe up there. So this is more of our engineer compartment. We've got just some 5-inch, a pony section, 33-foot section of 5-inch that we can connect in to get more water. Just some headphones here. This is a panel that we can take from the cab and actually control everything from over here. This is more of our structural panel that we can use. The only thing that we can't turn on from here is our Purple K. So water and foam we can run from here, and we can adjust our pre-connects from this point. Just some headphones. This system right here is the Eco Foam testing system, so we can test all of our foam internally using water as opposed to having to use actual foam. So that's a nice feature that we've got, and a huge improvement from our old vehicles. Just some different valves. This is our foam pump, so we can suck in all of the foam that goes up into the tank. We added an automatic shut-off up top, so when we get to 210 gallons of foam, we're not overflowing the top and the pump will stop. And then just some spanners and a hydrant wrench here, so pretty straightforward. This back compartment gives us access into our engine compartment. We got a step here, so we have our DEF tank, all of the fluids and filters that we may need. We can prime our truck from back here, and then our mechanics can get in to work on the engine or anything else they may need. This is a Scania engine, pretty commonly found on the Oshkosh ARFF trucks, but just a great area for them to work on. There's a lot of room in there. And then if you want to get a shot of this, our mechanics have aptly named the 2 new trucks. So red 2 is Shrek, and red 1 is Fiona. All right, the rear of the vehicle, not much to it. We've got a little giant ladder that is just connected and held on the rear of the vehicle. And then we have ladder access to the roof. We don't have anything on the roof other than just the top of the tanks to the foam. Purple K, that's where we would load the Purple K if we needed to do that, and then our water tank. We've got the camera system, so all 4 sides of the truck have a camera, so we have a 360-degree view of the vehicle when it's in motion if need be. And then we also have the actuated turn signal left. We can see the left side, right, we can see the right side. This is just different connections. This is an air outlet for when we're using air tools if need be. We've got an outlet there. And then we just have one Kuzma or Shoreline so that we can charge the vehicle along with the batteries and everything else that we have in here that may need some electrical power. Here is similar to the left rear side. Again, it's just access for us to get in to work on the engine. These steps fold down. We do have a spade head shovel that's mounted back here. And then we've got some oil dry and a fire decon bucket that we've placed in the back compartment here for use on the airfield or any incidents we may have. Just fuel, it's got a 90-gallon fuel tank on it, so that's this compartment. So in here I mentioned earlier that we carry a combi tool, so this is a Hamatro combi tool, a Pentheon. It's got the new battery set up on it. So that's mounted here for us. This is our compressed air tank. So this is what we would pressurize the Purple K system with. We went with compressed air just so that we can fill from our stations instead of using nitrogen. Just a set of tools here, irons and a flathead axe. We've got a rack of fire extinguishers on a slide out, just easier for us to get access to if need be. So anybody can pull them out. We got a battery powered fan for us to use on the airfield. A lot of times we'll use them for hot breaks or evacuating smoke out of a plane if need be, but mainly brakes. But we have one, Red One also has one very similar to this, battery powered. K-12, if we need to get into a fuselage or cut through things that we need to get to. And then just different sets of tools that we may have. A bag full of landscape flagging for us to mark a scene or a plane crash where bits of a plane may be. 100 feet of rope, search rope is in here. We've got 2 extinguishers down below, just an ABC and a water can down there. So everything's contained into here. We got a wax ring, toilet wax ring, if we try to stop a fuel leak from a wing or a fuselage if need be. And this compartment just has more tools. So we've pretty much switched everything over to battery powered tools. So we've got just a setup of DeWalt tools on a pack board. It's a grinder, a drill, impact drill, sawzall. These are electric tin snips, so we can, just like a can opener, just try to open up the exterior skin of a plane. Got a little demo saw. These things work great for quick and easy cutting. And we just have different sets of tools down here. Crash axe. So this is just another Halmatro little combi tool. It's powered by hand, so we can crank it closed and open. It really helps in tight spaces. A lot of the planes that we have out at Centennial are a little smaller than the commercial, so it's a tight space when you're inside the fuselage, and if you're having to cut a seat out or some type of a piece of the interior, it's nice to have these smaller tools. Wheel chocks down underneath here. These are slide out trays, so just a toolbox full of different sets of tools that we may need for a plane. And we just have a couple sets of battery powered scene lights. It can be pretty dark at night at the airport, so being able to light up our scene is a huge help. We have a 2.5-inch discharge here. This is just the other side of our hose lay or pre-connects. 2 spare SCBA bottles, and again, like on the other side, we have the pull-out handle and then the step that comes down to allow us to get into the overwheel compartment on the right side. Currently, it's just pretty open. We've got an extraction bag that has a bunch of different tourniquets and some medical supplies in it. And then our chargers for all of our DeWalts, our scene lights, and then the combi tool. All right, well, that's pretty much the exterior of the vehicle. We've added a lot of scene lights. A lot of people have asked why do we have so many emergency lights on here? And really the reason is we're not on the airport. We're not stationed on the airport like a lot of other places. So we respond from Station 35 to the north, which is at Arapahoe and Peoria, and then Lincoln and Peoria from Station 44. So we're driving on commercial roadways, and so the more lighting that we can have, the more awareness that we can give people that we're responding to the airport, the better off we're going to be. So we've added some more lighting. We've got the 6, 3 on either side, Wayland mini light bars up top, and then scene lighting. Like I said, it's dark out at the airport or any other rural operation where a plane may crash. So to have the extra lighting is a huge help for us. So the amber and blue lights, the front blue, that's our water level. That indicates how much water we have left in the truck. And then the back is our foam level indicator. So we know how much foam we've used or if we're getting low. And it really helps our incident commanders, our battalion chiefs. If we're in a scene working, they have a good idea of how much water we may have left to work with or to operate with. All right, so we'll go inside the cab. The right-hand side now is our officer's seat. and you've got some space down below. So I have all my gear down below, my boots and my jacket, my helmet is all down below, so it's nice and easy access to get to that. All right, so up in the officer's seat, just our typical MDT that you've seen on all of our other vehicles that we have. Our TIC is here. I've got my SCBA in my seat, and then we've got a roll-up compartment that we've added back here. It just gives us some more storage, some space to keep some pieces of equipment. Right now we've got a bunch of mega movers in there. Down here, just binoculars. We have a handheld GPS unit, medical gloves, some flagging, just some miscellaneous pieces of equipment that we may need on a scene. Pretty much everything is controlled though from right here. We have a touchscreen assembly here that we'll show you in just a minute when we go out and flow some water. The two joysticks control the two different turrets that we have. This one is the main turret, or our bumper turret. The bumper turret is our primary piece of equipment that will flow all three agents, so water, foam, and Purple K. The top roof turret, which is controlled by this one, is just water and foam up there. But I can control this one, my engineer can control this one, and we can put out a decent amount of fire. All the controls here. This is our FLIR system, so forward-looking infrared, where we can turn it on. It's mounted up on the roof, so we can see different aspects or contrast. We can set it to heat. It can see the thermal indications that we're looking for. If we are looking for a plane that's out in the field that we have no idea where it is, we can use the FLIR to try to help locate that wreckage. But pretty clean, large piece of glass, and engineer Matt Wolf will go through the internal operations with you as far as what all these switches do and what we go from there.
Hi, I'm Matt Wolf, engineer, Station 44, A shift. Today we're going to be talking about the operations of the inside of the Red and kind of going over just everything that's in there. This is where the engineer keeps their gear, and back here we have an SCBA, and it's kind of just kept back there out of the way. A lot of room in there. And now, why don't you come inside and we'll go for a ride.
Some of the radio traffic you're hearing is, we have an aviation radio in all the Reds, so you're hearing the tower talk with the aircraft that are incoming and outgoing of Centennial Airport.
One thing that's new to us is driving in the center. Red 3 was kind of off center. This one is new to us in the fact that we are driving in the center. Red 1, you drive in the center, so that's something we have to kind of get used to on this end. All of our emergency lighting is right here. We also have airport beacon, and then all of our controls are right here, which we'll go over here in a second. This is all a touch screen, and we have cameras that we can look at 360 degrees. In particular is the visibility. We can see a lot better. So the upper visibility that we have in this one is a lot better than old Red 3. And then the overall technology, the cameras, the touch screen, the FLIR is all incorporated in that, the diagnostic side of things, and then the ease of operation as well. There's only a few buttons that we have to push before we can get water out. The other aspect of this is that we can roll up to a scene or to a crash and have the front bumper go down to within 12 inches of the ground and give us a low attack capability, which we'll show you here in a minute once we get to our props. I don't know if the lieutenant mentioned earlier, but we do have 0 to 50 in 20 seconds, which is a standard by the manufacturer and the FAA. And then a top speed, not that we'll be going that, but is 73 miles an hour, which is quite fast and something we're, again, not used to. Our other trucks, we're fast, but not that quick.
It's also something to point out with Centennial Airport is that they're not an FAA indexed airport. So as much as we try to stay as close to Part 139 regulation as possible, they're not indexed. So the only thing that we really don't need is having an on-airport station. But everything else we try to maintain as close to those regulations as possible.
So basically the TAC 4 suspension is independent front and rear suspension. Each wheel can move on its own. It's not a solid axle that goes underneath the apparatus. This apparatus was made by Oshkosh, which they also make military vehicles, and that's where that product came from. And essentially this is the same suspension that are on those, has made the ride much better. It's very smooth compared to what we had.
Yeah, we're not getting bounced around like we used to.
Yeah.
We'd be up and down, a pretty hard ride, which compared to this is a Cadillac compared to those.
Some as we're approaching a scene, we're coming up to our props here. So we have a switch here in the center that we can deploy this front nozzle. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and the nozzle will automatically deploy. I can also control it with this joystick that is closest to me. So it kind of will be pointed up, and as we're getting closer, I can put that down as we're going. The other thing that we can do is engage the pump, and if we're in 7th gear, this will gradually slow down to 3rd gear. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's a 3-second hold of this blue switch. Everything is color coded. So anything blue is water, anything yellow is foam, and anything purple is purple K. So we're going to come up to our prop here, and we can start flowing. Once the pump senses that it's on, now we can control both streams, fog or straight. This also has an oscillate capability on the lower stream, or the front bumper stream. And I can also pull the trigger on this joystick and flow while I'm holding it and let go. I can also control the fog or the pattern of the stream from here. So like I mentioned, we have the capability to lower the front nozzle or the bumper turret. So we can do that with the switch, just hold it down and then it will deploy down. The one thing that we have to keep in mind is when this is lowered or deployed is I cannot see that very well from the engineer or from anybody sitting in here. So we have the 2 mirrors that will help us with that. But we have to be very careful of the terrain that we're approaching and keep that in mind, that it is, like I said, within 12 inches of the ground. And then from here again, we can flow, either do a low attack, or this is good for foam as well. We can do rolling on of the foam to create a good foam blanket as we approach a plane. So again, yellow is the foam level, blue is the water level, which we've dropped a little bit. Purple is purple K, and it actually has 2 levels on that. The left side of that gauge is the air, which we have air, compressed air in here, breathing air. And then the right side is once we charge that will show the level of the powder that's in that. And then earlier we were talking about the cameras, so we can go to a camera here. This first one is actually the FLIR that we can control from inside the cab as well. So that's looking towards the front. That's the prop that we were just spraying. Sorry, it's a little touchy.
Color.
We can also change the color intensity to show the heat. And then from there, we can also hit the screen and go to camera 2, and that'll show our 360 view and the front bumper view, which is on the turret. And then the top turret is controlled with this joystick, which the officer is going to be in control of, and that will tell you, this here will tell you that the which way that is direct or is pointing. And then when we go back to the home screen, which this is a touch screen, or the push buttons, it will also show that here in the center. All right, so we're gonna go over the pump operations and turret operations from the outside. So again, as we're pulling up to a scene, I can deploy the nozzle and it will kind of deploy out and up. I can also control that with the turret that's inside here. And then I can lower that, and I will also lower the front bumper turret down to the low attack position. And again, I can hardly see it minus the front mirrors. I'm going to turn a little to the left, 11 o'clock area, and activate the pump. And now I will do low flow option, which is 325 GPM. We can also flow 750, and we can only do that out of one turret. So if we activate the front turret, or the top turret, it will override the bumper turret. The bumper turret again will flow all 3 agents. The top turret will only flow water and foam. Again, I can adjust the stream from here. We can do a fog, and I can also raise this up. Raise this up to any point and still flow water as well. And this also has an oscillate mode, so if we were coming up or we're in a stationary position but had a large fire or a large plane, we can put the nozzle on oscillate and it would do it on its own. Now I'm going to turn on the front windshield visor, or front deluge. So that'll automatically mist, and the windshield wipers turn on automatically. Just again, that cools the glass if there is high heat from the fire or from the plane. And this truck actually comes standard with 2 under truck nozzles. We went to 4 just because that's what we're used to and what we had previously. So there's one on the front side of the axle, basically one on each side of each axle.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching the Fleet Friday on Red 2 and really Red 1, since they're identical. It's just a little bit different pieces of equipment that are on each truck, but I appreciate you taking the time to watch. We're out at our ARFF training facility here at Centennial Airport, and we're really excited to announce the new prop that we're gonna get at the end of August of 2023. So I'm sure we'll do a video at that point of our live fire medium duty fuselage that we'll have here on the airport for us to train with. But until then, have a great day.